Let me guess. You're constantly frustrated. A careless comment from a coworker, a driver cutting you off, plans going sideways, and you feel that familiar hot rush of anger. It feels like your anger is in the driver's seat, leaving you with nothing but regret and exhaustion. It's a fire that burns you way more than it ever burns its target. 2,000 years ago, the Roman philosopher Seneca called anger what it is: a temporary madness, a self-inflicted wound. But what if I told you that one ancient Stoic principle could completely rewire your response to, well, everything? What if you could master this single idea and never be truly controlled by anger again? Stick around, because that's exactly what we're about to do. The one principle to rule them all. So, what's the big secret? It's this: nothing outside of your mind can actually make you angry. Your anger comes from one place and one place only: your own judgment. Let that sink in. Think about it. That traffic jam? It's not making you angry. That rude comment from your boss? Nope, not that either. The broken coffee mug? Not the mug's fault. What's actually making you angry is the story you're telling yourself about these things. The judgment you're passing in the courtroom of your mind. You've judged the traffic jam as an injustice. You've judged the comment as a personal attack. You've judged the broken mug as the last straw on a terrible day. The Stoics knew that between an event and our emotional response, there's a gap. And in that gap, that's where our power lies. It's the power to interpret, to judge, to decide what an event means. And if we're the ones who decide what it means, then we're the ones who decide whether to light the fire of anger or not. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, how much more damage anger and grief do than the things that cause them. He understood that our emotional reaction is often a massive overreaction, a secondary injury we inflict on ourselves long after the initial event is over. The insult stings for a moment, but the anger over it can ruin your entire day, your week, or even your relationships. The good news is, unlike other people or the weather, your judgments are entirely within your control. So, consider this your training manual. We're about to break down the practical, actionable strategies from the Stoic masters to put this principle into action. This isn't just theory, it's a toolkit for getting your inner peace back. Section 1. The sacred pause. Master the space between. All right, first up, the sacred pause. The most fundamental technique is to simply create some distance. The Stoic philosopher Seneca, who wrote a whole book on this called On Anger, argued that the greatest remedy for anger is delay. When you feel that first spark of heat, your only job is to do nothing, to wait. Why is this so powerful? Because anger is an impulse. It's a hijacker that seizes control of your brain. That pause, it's your defense system. It's a circuit breaker between the trigger and your response. In that space, reason gets a chance to catch its breath and step in. Time, Seneca noted, lets the initial shock fade. It helps you see the situation with clearer eyes, distinguishing between a genuine injury and a perceived one. Let's put this in a modern context. You get a work email that feels passive-aggressive. The impulse is to fire back immediately, escalating the conflict. The Stoic path is to pause. You feel the heat? And you deliberately close the laptop. You get up, walk away, make a cup of tea, give it an hour, or even until the next morning. When you come back to that email after hitting pause, you almost always see it differently. The perceived attack might just be a poorly phrased request. The criticism might even be a valid point you can learn from. Or even if it is still rude, your response will now come from a place of calm calculation, not fiery emotion. You move from reacting to responding. Now, this isn't about suppressing the feeling. It's about intelligently managing it. You aren't denying the feeling. You're giving yourself time to properly diagnose it. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, is this momentary irritation worth the cost of your tranquility? So here's your first exercise, and it's simple. For the next week, make a pact with yourself. When you feel anger rising, your only task is to stop and take 10 deep, slow breaths before you speak or act. That's it, just 10 breaths. Create that space. It's the first step to mastering your judgment. Section 2. Interrogate your impressions. Are you truly harmed? Okay, so you've hit pause. What's next? Now, you have to question the judgment that's bubbling up. You have to become a detective of your own thoughts. Marcus Aurelius gave himself this killer instruction. Get rid of the judgment, and you get rid of the I am harmed. Get rid of the I am harmed, and you get rid of the harm itself. This is a revolutionary idea. The event itself, the driver cutting you off, the friend forgetting your birthday is neutral. It's just a fact. The harm is created entirely by your interpretation, by the judgment that you've been wronged. Let's break this down with a classic scenario. Someone makes a sarcastic comment about your new haircut in front of your friends. The initial, unexamined judgment is, they just humiliated me to make me look foolish. I am harmed. This immediately triggers a hot, defensive, angry response. Now, let's apply the Stoic interrogation. In the pause you've created, you ask yourself, am I actually harmed by this? My body is fine. My finances are unchanged. My character, my values all untouched. The only thing that happened is that sound waves vibrated through the air, and my brain interpreted them as an insult. The harm is entirely in my perception of my social standing. It's a paper cut for my ego, not a wound to my soul. Then, you can dig deeper. Who made the comment? Is this person a bit insecure? Maybe their comment says more about their own need for attention than it does about your haircut. Maybe it was just a clumsy joke that didn't land. By questioning the impression, you reframe the event. The story shifts from, I have been attacked, to, an insecure person made a clumsy comment. One story leads to anger. The other leads to pity, or maybe even amusement. The event is the same. The judgment is different. And so the emotional outcome is different. This is what the Stoics meant when they said, it's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Don't just be a passive victim of your first impressions. Grab them, hold them up to the light, and interrogate them. Ask yourself, is this story serving me, or is it just causing me a ton of unnecessary pain? Section 3. The view from above. Find your cosmic perspective. A lot of the time, our anger is just a failure of perspective. The problem feels massive because it's filling our entire field of view. The Stoics had a powerful visualization tool to fight this, the view from above. Here's how it works. Close your eyes. Imagine floating up from your chair above the building you're in. See the roof, then the street, then your whole neighborhood. Keep rising. See your city as a grid of lights. Rise higher still until you see the curve of the earth, the shapes of continents, the swirl of clouds. From way up here, hanging in the silent blackness of space, try to find the source of your anger. Try to locate the traffic jam. Try to find the person who insulted you. From this cosmic perspective, they vanished. They are impossibly, laughably small, lost in the vastness of it all. The argument that felt so world-ending a moment ago is revealed for what it is, a tiny disturbance on a tiny planet. This exercise is a double whammy. First, it shrinks the problem. It puts your personal frustrations into a much larger context, robbing them of their power. The mountain of your anger turns back into a molehill. Second, it connects you to a sense of shared humanity. From up there, you don't see arguments or egos. You see a planet of billions of people, all living their own brief, complicated lives. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, working against each other is contrary to our nature. This perspective fosters connection, not conflict. And you don't have to wait until you're raging to use this. Practice it for a few minutes each day. Make it a habit. When you feel the walls of a problem closing in, just take a moment and float above it all. Section 4. Rehearse for trouble. The premeditation of evils. All right, this next one is one of the most counterintuitive but powerful Stoic strategies. Premeditatio malorum. The premeditation of evils. Think of it as an emotional vaccination. The Stoics knew we often get angry not because of an event itself, but because it was unexpected. We have a blueprint for how the day should go. The commute should be easy. The meeting should be smooth. People should be nice. When reality, as it always does, shatters that blueprint, our surprise instantly curdles into anger. The judgment is, this shouldn't be happening. Premeditatio malorum tackles this head-on. Each morning you take a moment to calmly consider what might go wrong. Don't get catastrophic. Just acknowledge the possibilities. For example, today I will probably deal with rude, selfish, or ungrateful people. Or, my train might be delayed. I might spill my coffee. A project I'm working on might hit a snag. By running through these possibilities beforehand, you strip them of their power to shock you. When the train is delayed, your mind doesn't scream, this shouldn't be happening. It just goes, yep, called it. The surprise is gone. And when the surprise is gone, the fuel for anger is gone. And this isn't about being a pessimist. It's about being a realist. It's not resignation. It's preparation. Instead of fuming about the delay, you can use the time to read the book you brought, just in case. When you meet a difficult person, you remember your morning meditation and choose to respond with patience, not surprise. You're preparing your judgments in advance. A pilot does this in a simulator. They don't want an engine to fail, but they practice the scenario so that if it happens, they act with calm professionalism instead of panic. This is your emotional simulator. You're training yourself to handle turbulence with grace. A challenge for you. All right, we're a little over halfway through, and I have a challenge for you. You don't have to master all of these at once. For the next 24 hours, pick just one of the principles we've talked about so far, the sacred pause. Interrogating your impressions, the view from above, or the morning premeditation. Commit to practicing just that one thing. When you feel that spark of anger, apply your chosen tool. And then, I want you to come back to this video. Drop a comment and tell us what happened. Which tool did you pick? Did it change how you reacted? How you felt? Let's turn this comment section into a lab for this powerful ancient wisdom. Section 5. Remember our shared humanity. Educate or endure. Let's be honest. Most of our anger is directed at other people. Their mistakes, their flaws, their "are you kidding me" moments. Marcus Aurelius gives us a brilliant flowchart for this. Men exist for one another. Then either educate them or endure them. This simple phrase is a complete guide for dealing with frustrating people. Your first job, he says, is to remember we are social creatures, built for cooperation. We're all part of the same flawed, imperfect human family. Getting angry at someone for being flawed is like getting angry at a rock for being hard. It's in their nature. So, when someone does something that would normally make you angry, a colleague misses a deadline, a family member is inconsiderate, your first option is to educate. This isn't about lecturing them. It's about calmly explaining the consequences of their actions, or helping them see your side. It's a constructive move, assuming they're acting out of ignorance, not malice. Maybe your colleague genuinely doesn't get the impact of their delay. Maybe your family member is just oblivious. But what if that doesn't work? What if they can't or won't change? Then you pivot to option 2, endure. And this isn't a bitter, teeth-gritting tolerance. It's a calm acceptance of reality. You accept that this is who this person is. You can't change them. Your anger definitely won't change them. It will only destroy your own peace of mind. So you work around their flaws. You manage your expectations. You protect your own tranquility by refusing to let their behavior dictate your emotional state. This framework changes the game. The default judgment is, they are doing this to me. The Stoic judgment is, this person is acting according to their nature. My first option is to help. If that fails, my second option is to accept them and protect my own peace. It moves you from the role of a victim to the role of a strategist. Section 6. Practice cognitive alchemy. Turn lead into gold. This next technique is one of the most elegant and, frankly, advanced Stoic moves. Let's call it cognitive alchemy. It's the art of turning the lead of anger into the gold of, well, pretty much anything else, like gratitude or humor. Let's say you're in a monster traffic jam. The untrained judgment is, this is a disaster. My time is being wasted. This is infuriating. The Stoic alchemist immediately challenges that story. They reframe it, actively searching for a positive. The new story sounds like this. Okay, I'm stuck. But this is an unexpected gift of 20 minutes. I can finally listen to that podcast. I can call my mom. Heck, I can just sit here and be grateful I have a car, a place to go, and that I'm safe. By consciously forcing your mind to find a point of gratitude, you starve the anger of the oxygen it needs to burn. You can't be grateful and enraged at the same time. The emotions cancel each other out. You're turning the lead of frustration into the gold of appreciation. Another powerful form of this alchemy: humor. Specifically, self-deprecating humor. When someone insults you, the instinctive reaction is to get defensive. Humor disarms the whole situation. Someone makes a crack about you being clumsy. Instead of getting defensive, you laugh and say, "You're just noticing? I've turned clumsiness into an art form." This shows supreme confidence. It tells them, and more importantly, it tells yourself, that their judgment has no power over you. You refuse to be harmed. This takes practice. It will feel forced at first, but with repetition, you can train your brain to default to this alchemical process. When faced with an irritant, your first question becomes, what's the opportunity here? How can I find gratitude or humor in this? Section 7. Conduct the evening review, your daily mental sparring. How do you get better at anything? Tennis, chess, playing the guitar? You practice, and then you review your performance. The Stoics did the same thing with the art of living. Seneca, for example, did this every single night. Before bed, he'd put his entire day on trial in the court of his own mind. And just to be clear, this isn't about beating yourself up. It's a calm, objective review of your actions and, most importantly, your judgments. This is your daily anger management training. Each evening, set aside 10 minutes. Ask yourself, 1. When did I feel that spark of anger or frustration today? Be specific. Was it in a meeting? During your commute? 2. What was the exact trigger? 3. What was my knee-jerk judgment? What was the story I told myself that sparked the anger? For example, my judgment was that my colleague was trying to undermine me. 4. How did I react? Did I act on the anger? Did I use one of my tools? 5. How could I have reframed it? Could I have used the view from above? Could I have remembered our shared humanity? Could I have found a reason for gratitude? This daily practice is where you build mastery. You'll start to see patterns in your triggers and your judgments. By reviewing them calmly, you are mentally rehearsing a better response for next time. The goal isn't a perfect day where you felt zero anger. The goal is to observe, learn, and slowly replace those old, destructive mental habits with new, rational ones, forging your unshakable mind. So, we started with a simple, but pretty radical idea. Anger isn't something that happens to you. It's something you create. It's the product of a judgment, a story you tell yourself. And because it's yours, you have the power to change it. We've unpacked a whole toolkit from the ancient Stoics, turning that one core idea into practical, battle-tested strategies. We learned to create a sacred pause. We learned to interrogate our impressions and ask, am I truly harmed? We gained perspective with the view from above. We prepared for trouble with the premeditation of evils. We learned to either educate or endure. We practiced turning frustration into gratitude. And we committed to getting better every day with the evening review. Look, mastering this isn't going to happen overnight. This is a lifelong practice. You will have days where you fail. You will get angry. But the difference now is that you'll know why. You can dissect it, see the faulty judgment at its core, and know what to do differently next time. You are no longer a passive victim of your emotions. You are an apprentice of your own mind. The ultimate Stoic goal is a state they called apatheia, which doesn't mean apathy, but a state of unshakable calm, a resilience that comes from knowing what you can and can't control. By mastering this one principle that your judgment, not the world, creates your anger, you are walking that path. You won't just be managing your anger anymore. You'll be dissolving it at the source. You'll become someone who isn't just slow to anger, but someone who rarely sees a good reason to get angry in the first place because you've chosen peace over pointless drama. If you got some value out of this video, do us 3 quick favors. First, hit the like button so we know this resonated with you. Second, Subscribe for more practical philosophy for modern life. And finally, share this video with someone who you think might need to hear this message today. Your journey to tranquility begins with a single step, and you've already taken it.